So let's play Comancheria, the first scenario, which is easy, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to play. It just means it's a lot less difficult to win than the other scenarios. We have chosen the tactics card, culture level 0.1. Placement of a fourth ravage counter on a tribe or settlement immediately removes that tribe or settlement from play. What is our victory condition, or what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to clear all of the upper Arkansas of settlers or tribes. And we want to have one more Comancheria, one more rancheria somewhere else. So this is the player aids, which are not as bad as they could be, but they're not as good as they could be either. So the first thing that happens in every single turn is the war column phase. Now we don't have any war columns on the board, so we can skip it. So now we have the operation selection phase. If no bands in play, or if operation counters is in the must do passage of time, which is not true, neither of these is true, the player must conduct passage of time. Otherwise, player selects take actions, culture, planning, or passage of time. Now I have been told that culture is very important because it can kill you very easily. And that's why I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a culture action. We increase the culture points for each territory containing one or more rancherias. So we have one. And we roll a die. If the result is less than the numbered position of operations, we have 0. We must do the passage of time space. Otherwise, advance counter 1 space towards the must do passage of time. So that's what we're going to do. And then we go to the operation cleanup phase. First, we have to enforce stacking rules. There is no stacking here, so it's fine. We don't need to do anything. Then we roll a die for each rancheria with finished bands. We don't have any finished bands. All of them are unfinished. If the die roll is less or equal to the number of finished bands, in this case it's 0, so we can never roll a 0 or less, so nothing happens, then they would get 1 free instruction. But they don't, because this isn't true. Then we draw and reveal 1 counter from the success check draw cup. This is this cup, so we're going to draw one, not looking. And it is a success. If success, return it to draw cup. That was easy. Number 4, if Santa Fe, that's not the case. We don't have that. So now we're back at the operation cleanup phase is done. So now we're back at the war column phase. Nothing happens because there aren't any. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take actions, because this is a war game after all, so we want to start going to war. Now, we choose a rancheria to activate. We only have one, so that's quite easy. We're going to activate rancheria A. We flip all bands and activated rancheria to unfinished. They are. We place bands from resource box into empty spaces to immediate left of Paraibo's counter on active rancheria's medicine track. Now our Paraibo has a medicine of 2, we only have 2 counters, so that's easy. We have to place all of them, and you have to place as many as you can. So if you have 4 and he's got a medicine of 2, you can place only 2, but you have to place those 2. So now these guys can do stuff. And then we go to activate rightmost band from medicine track. So what we do is we just decide these guys are now going to do something. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them horses, 2 counters, and we're going to give them a Mahimiana. So we're now going to place them here. So these guys are now going to ride out. The question is, what do we want them to do? So this counter basically explains what this band can do. It's got a strength of 2 and movement of 5. Now movement points, it's actually a bit of a problematic term because it's more than just movement, it's actually action as well. So let's use this die to note that these guys have 5 actions. To move from one place to another takes 2 actions unless you have a horse with you. We have 2 horses, which allows you to reduce the number to 1. So we can move, and we could, for example, hunt, or we could go here, move twice, and attack this settlement or this tribe. And we are actually going to do this. So we're going to move 1, 2, and then we can attack them. And a raid, that's called raiding, has a cost of 1. And we need to conduct a success check for this. First of all, we need to decide how many counters we get to draw. Now the strength is 2, so we get to draw 2 counters. Now we do have a Mahimiana with us, so we roll a die. And we roll a 2. Now the 2 is equal to or less than our Mahimiana's medicine, because that's a 2 as well. So we get to draw 1 additional counter. Now this is not you may draw 1 additional counter, but you have to draw 3 counters in total. And drawing counters isn't only a good thing, it can also lead to bad things. And this is what I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to draw 1, 2 for the 2 strengths, and 1 more for the Mahimiana's medicine. So we now turn them over. This is for enemy APs. Now this is now where you add this to the enemy action point box, so they can now use these. They have 4, which is not good. Turn over the next one, it's a success, and then we turn over the next one, and it's 2 enemy APs. So the enemy gained 6 action points, and we gained 1 success. If we put in, if we get a success, we can put a ravaged token on this, and the success goes to the Mahimiana success box. For each success that we draw, we collect 1 horse or 1 captives from stock. And we're going to draw captives. Now they get added to this warband. And at the moment still there is no such thing as stacking limits. You could have a stack as high as this if you are consecutively raiding and consecutively successfully raiding. So now, we still have, so we raided, so we only have 2 action points left. We could raid again, which means we only have 1 action point left, and it wouldn't be possible for us to return here. However, we can, if you like, expend 1 horse counter to add 1 additional point. So we are going to raid 1 more time. So let's roll for our Mahimiana's medicine. A 4, it means we only get to draw 2 counters in total. I'm not looking. I'm going to hold this up to the camera. I'm not looking in the viewfinder either. And I'm going to draw 2 counters. 1, 2. Let's turn them over. Enemy 3 and 1 success. Okay, so we're going to take a horse counter as our success. We spent 1 action. We're going to put a second ravaged counter here. And then we're going to move. We have 1 action left. Move here, so no actions. And we're going to expend a horse counter, and then we're going to go back to our Comancheria. So this goes into stock. And now we basically put them into the Comancheria's holding space, as it were. And that was the end of our round, because we have no more activations on this one. However, we still have a second band that we can activate, and we are going to activate it, but we cannot give the Mahimiana to them. But we still had 2 horses in our rancheria, so we're going to put them out here. And we are going to give them 5 action points. And they are going here. And they're going to go hunting. So now we're at 4. And in order to hunt, what you do is you expend 3 actions, because we don't have a Mahimiana with us. And then we just take possession of the bison counter. So actually I should have done it like this. I should have moved in here and placed myself next to the bison counter, then hunt. Now we're on top of the bison counter, we take possession of it. We have 1 movement point left, we're going to go back. So now we flip over every single finished band because they have basically done their job. And that's the end. We can't do anything else because we don't have any more war bands at the ready. So now we're in the operation cleanup phase. First of all, we enforce the stacking. This means that we basically disband our bands and nobody has possession of anything anymore. The horses are part of the rancheria proper, so they don't belong to a warband anymore. The bison are part of the rancheria and the captives are too. So they don't belong to anyone anymore. They belong to the whole tribe. Next up, we have to roll a die for each rancheria with finished bands. So that's now interesting. We roll a 5. If the die roll is equal to or less than the number of finished bands in that rancheria, enemy executes 1 free instruction. Doesn't happen because we rolled a 5 and we only have 2 unfinished bands, finished bands. We draw and reveal 1 counter from the success cup. Again, I'm not looking. And it is 2 enemy action points. We're going to add this to the box, so they will be taking plenty of actions this round. And now we're going to go to 622. 622A. And 622A is simply, if I can find it, 622A for it's actually not even in here, is it? That's weird. Oh, here we are. 622A. If enemy has at least 1 AP, roll a die and compare results on enemy action table of current history card to determine active enemy. So we're going to roll a die. And we roll a 3. And this means west. So the west is going to start acting now. And I just have to check one thing. Just give me 1 second. I actually believe that the north is always active. Yeah, okay. So we rolled a 5 and we rolled a 3, which means the west is going to activate. Now, what we're now going to do is we are going to randomize the actions that the player, the west, has. So we're going to roll another die and it's a 5. So it means that space 5 gets turned over from peace to war. Brilliant. And we have a total of 8, 10, 13 points. Oh boy, this is going to get terrible. Okay, so first of all, the first action that they're going to take is action A, subjugate. Now they spend 3 tokens or 3 points, and this goes back into the cup. However, we have the War of Spanish Succession in play. What this means is that war and subjugate instructions have no effect. Enemy spends the APs, but that does not actually execute the instructions procedure. So, nothing happens. That was good. Lucky. Next up is culture. Culture is a terrible one. We pay 3 for this, so we make change by actually just increasing the available enemy APs by 1 on the track. And culture works as follows. Whoops. Culture works as follows. If one or more ravaged counters are in an enemy space belonging to the active enemy, that's not the case. Player loses 1 culture point. Player loses 1 additional culture point for each settlement belonging to the active enemy. So we just lose 1. So how many did we have at the beginning? Was it really 4? No, we had 3. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we're now at 2 culture points. So next up is they still have 5 left, so they're going to go to the settle action. And settle does the following. If there is 1 or more ravaged counters in an enemy space belonging to the active enemy, no. So in that case, place 1 available settlement counter belonging to active enemy into a round map space. Any bison in the space is returned to stock. So first of all, we're going to take a settlement. And since this is the west, it would be a yellow one. So these are just basically this kind of counter. Settlement. And now how do we place them? We can place them here, 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 or here. So, place 1 available settlement counter belonging to active enemy into a round map space. Any bison in the space is returned to stock. It must comply with stacking, 2.4. So, you cannot... Actually, what does 2.4 say? I think it says that you cannot put this on a space where there is 2.4. A round map space may contain 1 rancheria or 1 settlement or 1 tribe or 1 band count. So we can't put it here or here. We need to place it nearest fewest MPs to active enemy square enemy space, and use only 1 enemy connection when tracing route. So it could be, this would be the nearest. So we're going to place it here. The bison goes back to stock. Okay. We're going to pay for settlement. It's 4. And then we have 1 left. The next counter would be war, which costs 3, but they don't have enough. They have only 1 point left, so nothing happens. So they end their turn, but they keep this 1 action point. And that is the end of 6.2.2.A. So and now we would have the step 4 of the operation cleanup phase, which only happens if Santa Fe trail is in place, but that's not the case. It isn't. And I would assume, and it doesn't say this, or at least I can't see it, that we now push down the operation space, counter 1 space. So now we're again at the sequence of play, war column, movement, nothing happens, because there isn't any. So what we can do now is we are going to go and do some raiding. So we're first of all gonna activate all of our bands. And we have a band here with 2 horses and 1 Mahimiana. And we're going to go here and try to kill these guys. So we have 5 points. 1, 2. We're gonna raid. We're going to roll for our Mahimiana's medicine again, and we don't get an additional one. Now, we still have the success tokens that we earned the last time. They are still not in the cup because they're still on our success box for the Mahimiana. Now, of course they're now missing, so our chances of getting successes are less. And we didn't do the shakedown dance, which I will show you in the next round because then we will do some planning. So we've got 2, and that's 3 enemy APs and 1 success. So we're going to put this here, and we're going to put the 3 enemy successes here, and now we have 3 ravaged tokens. And we are going to take horses for this. So we raid it, and then we're going to raid 1 more time. Let's roll for his medicine. And we do get an additional token. So we now draw 3 tokens. I think that's 3, so we get 1. I see a success there already. So okay, so we get 6 enemy actions in total, but we do get the 4th ravaged counter, which means that due to our tactics ability, if we place a 4th ravaged counter on a tribe or settlement, immediately remove that tribe or settlement from play. So we're going to remove it, and we're 1 step closer to dominating this area. We gain horses. And we're going to move back 1, and we're going to leave the horses behind 2. Yeah. They go back to stock, and we are back at our rancheria. We flip the counter over. And our other band is going to take the 2 horses that we still have left, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Or we can actually ravage these guys. 1, 2, yeah, we're going to raid. No, we're not going to raid. 1, 2, 3. Or are we? Actually, we're going to stay put. We're not going to do anything. We're going to stay put. That's the end of our round. So now, and you don't have to do anything. It's not like you have to use every single band. So now we roll a die. First we enforce the stacking rules, so everything gets unstacked. And then we roll a die for each rancheria that has a finished band. It's a 3, so nothing happens. We draw and reveal one counter from the cup. Not looking, and it is 2 enemy APs. Okay. So now the enemy has 8, 11, 12 points in total. So what we're now going to do is we're now going to check who's going to act. We roll a 4, which means it's the west again. And then we're going to check which one we're going to flip, and it's number 5, so we're going to flip culture over to peace. And now we're going to start engaging with the enemy. So the first of his actions is war, which costs 3. So we're going to pay 3, but due to the War of Spanish Succession, nothing happens. So we're lucky. Next up is War 5. Again, nothing happens. The counters go back in the cup. And the last one is settle. And so they're going to settle now. And the nearest one that they could use is this one. And that's a problem because that is in the area where we would like to get supremacy. So. And now they have 1 AP left, and for this they can't do anything. And we know that if they get to act next round, they will probably end up settling. Okay, end of round. War column phase doesn't happen because there isn't one. I am going to pay 1 action though. I guess I can do this because it doesn't really say when I can do this to buy a card. Or is that in the planning phase? Okay, we're now going to do a planning. And planning works as follows. For each Mahimiana with +1 success, with 1 or more successes in his medicine track, he gets +1 medicine. So that's our case here. Suck. So we win out 3 medicine. Then we select a Rancheria with in-play Mahimiana with 1 or more successes on his medicine track. We transfer one success from the Mahimiana's medicine track to the Paraibo's medicine track in the same rancheria. We do this. And then if successes remain in Mahimiana's medicine track, medicine +1, and transfer one success to operations track space with fewest successes. Now this is unclear. If success remain in Mahimiana's medicine track, which is true, his medicine increases by 1. And we take 1 success to operations track space with fewest successes. Okay, so this goes here. And repeat this step until there are no success counters remaining in any Mahimiana's medicine track. Okay, so we're going to do this again. And then one more time. In each rancheria with one or more successes in the Paraibo's medicine track, increase the Paraibo's medicine by 1 per success on his track. Then transfer all his successes to the out of play box. Each in-play rancheria's Paraibo may either conduct one headman action or attempt to take more than one headman action. To attempt more than one headman action, roll a die. If the result is less or equal to the Paraibo's medicine, the Paraibo gets to take the number of headman actions equal to the dice roll. We're not going to do this. We're going to take the following headman action. We're going to spend 1 AP and we're going to buy the Ute Alliance card. Then we're going to roll a die for each Mahimiana of each in-play rancheria with medicine rating. We don't have that because everyone has more than 0. All finished bands strength reduced by 1 and marked as unfinished. So all finished. So they're now reduced to 1 and unfinished. The player may move up all in-play rancheria counters. Okay, so we're not going to move. Or are we? Yes, we are going to move. We are going to move 1, 2. Now the enemy executes 1 free instruction. Let's see who's going to act. And on a 5, it's the west again. We're going to flip number 2. And they're going to take a settle. And I'm not sure if they actually can. They can't, because this one would influence the stacking limit, and this one doesn't do it either, so this one goes away. Because they can only do this across these yellow lines, and this would influence the stacking level, this would influence the stacking level, so it doesn't work, so they can't do this. So next up is step 9, roll a die. Let's roll a die and then see what happens. So we roll a die and we roll a 4. If the result is less than the numbered position of operations, no, that's not the case. So now we're going to go to operation cleanup phase. We enforce the stacking rules. Doesn't happen at the moment. We don't have any finished bands anywhere, so that's fine. We draw and reveal one counter from the success cup. And it's a success, it goes back. And I wonder what to do about these yolks, because I have no idea what this actually means when you do the shakedown dance. Because you place them here and then what? Do they ever come back? That is rule number 4.3, planning. Ah, okay. So this is how you do it. You put it here and then it goes back. Does it actually say that anywhere here? Yeah. Okay, so this one goes back. And actually this one goes down because we're now at 4. Okay, good. So done. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We are going to attack these guys. And we're going to, so we have 5 movements, or 5 actions, so we just took 1 action by moving. And then we're going to take 1 more action to raid. And we're going to draw 2 counters. And that's a success, and that's, so we're going to put 1 ravaged counter on here. And we're going to get captives. Then we're going to raid again. Let me just check one thing. If you don't have a Mahimihana with you, what happens to the success counter? Raid. Success check. Out of play box. Okay, so we're going to try this again with 2. Okay, that didn't go so well. Then we're going to move back. And we are finished. And then we're going to send out these yolks. And then they have 6. 5, hunt is 3, so they have 2 left. And they're going to move back here. And they're also finished. And that's that. Next up is the operation cleanup phase. So first of all, we relinquish possession. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll a die for each rancheria with finished bands. So we have only 1 rancheria in total, so it doesn't really make any difference. And we roll, and that was not a good roll, so we rolled a 5, that's fine, nothing happens. Then we draw and reveal 1 counter from the success cup. And that is 1, 3, and oh god, this is going to be terrible. 3. So now we're going to do the enemy actions, and it's a 1, so this time it's the north. And the north has a total of 8, 14, 15 points. So first we're going to see which one we're going to turn around. 1. Okay, so they're going to encroach. I've never seen this one before. So first of all we have 4 points which we're going to use. And we're going to pay for encroachment. How does encroachment work? I have no idea because I've never done this before. Okay, if 1 or more ravaged counters are in an enemy space belonging to the active... No, sorry, that's wrong. Counters in an enemy space belonging to the active enemy. Execute or recover instruction. No. Roll a die to determine which territory will receive the tribe counter. Let's roll a die. 5. 3, 4, 6, 2, 1. Do we have 5? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here. There isn't any place, is there? Or can they... Okay. Place 1 available tribe counter into a space in that territory. Player's choice. Any bison in the space is returned to stock. Okay, so we're just going to roll a die because it's this territory here. And we roll a 2. That's not possible. It could be a 1. 1, 2, 5, or 6. So we roll again. And it's a 6. So we remove this bison and put it back into stock. Okay, so that was that one. Next up is that they would ally with us. So we pay 3 for this. We take this ally counter and we're going to put it here. Okay, so they're now our allies, which means that once we have taken away this one, once we've destroyed the settlement, we would be again in possession of the Upper Arkansas. Next is the hunt. So they have to pay 2 for this. And hunt does what exactly? Randomly determine a territory. 4. That's the Red River. If 1 or more bison is in that territory, remove 1 bison counter to stock. Random selection. Yes, there is, but only the 1. So we're just gonna, that's easy, gonna take this one. And then next up is hunt again, which again costs 3. Let's see, we determine it's number 2. That's this one, and we're gonna take, we have 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, done. And they have still 3 points left. So they're going to ally themselves again with us, and we're going to we're going to do it here. And that was them. Okay. End of operations phase. We pull this down, the success goes back into the cup. War column phase. There isn't one, so we can skip this one. We are going to do some hunting. First, we're going to go and try and kill these guys. So we have 4 left. We're going to raid. And we get 4 enemy actions and 4 enemy actions. That wasn't good. So nothing happened there. So we're going to try this again. Success. And one more time. Success and 3 enemy actions. So it's got 3 ravaged counters. And we actually got 3 successes in total, so we get 3 things. So we get horses and 2 captives. And for our last point, we're going to move back into our Comancheria. And that was this one. And then we're going to take this band here. They have a movement or an action point allowance of 6, and they're going to move here 1. They have horses, so it's only 1, and then 1 more here. 4. They're going to do a hunt action, and they have a Mahimiana with them. So hunting now only costs them 2. They take possession of the bison count and then they move back for 2, 1, 2, and they're also finished. So that's the end of this round. Now we enforce the stacking rules and we relinquish possession of the stuff that we have. And then what we're going to do is we are going to we return these to the cup, and then what we're going to do is we're going to roll a die and nothing happens, and we have plenty of enemy actions. We've got 14 in total. So now we're going to see which enemy is going to act, and it's one, it's the north. So first of all, we're going to see which one is going to be changed, and it's nothing. So they're going to start doing stuff. So the first one is hunt for 2. Let's determine the space, and it's a 1, so it's over here, but there isn't anything, so nothing happens. Next up is hunting again. 4. There are no bison in Red River, so nothing happens. I assume, let's just be sure. What happens if nothing is there? If they can't hunt? Oh, okay. So if there are no bison, then you need to check another one. So we will take number 5. So that would be this one. And for the previous one, we're just going to randomly take this one. There's 1, 2, 3 bison. So we take this one. And then they're going to hunt again. And they're going to hunt in territory 1. There isn't one, so they're going to move to territory 2, where there is one. Oh, there is one in territory 1, so they're going to take this one. And then the last one is encroach, for which they're going to pay for. And encroach means if there is a ravaged counter somewhere, there isn't. Roll a die to determine which territory will receive the tribe counter. It's territory 4, just down here. And then we're just going to add it here because that's the only place where they can have one. So that's that. And then they have 3 left, which they can't use. So they go back into the cup, but we give them 3 for the next time. And now operations is over, and we must do a passage of time. And this is something we haven't done before. So let's see how this works. Passage of time. First of all, we mark all in-play bands as unfinished. Done. We may spend resource counters from in-play rancherias in order to create a new band. 1 population point plus number of new bands already created in the same rancheria at this step. New bands are created from stock at 1 strength. New bands are placed, okay. A player may spend resource counters from any in-play bands and or rancherias in order to increase the strength of band counters. So we're going to spend 1 captives to go from 1/6 to 2/5. Then we're going to spend 1 more to go to 3/4. And then we're going to spend 1 to create a new band. And then we're going to spend 1 more to increase its strength to 2/5. Player may place 1 new rancheria into a space occupied by a lone band. We don't have this. Ha! We do have this because we're going to play Ute Alliance. And this allows us to place a 3 strength band into any map space. And we're going to spend it here. We're going to put it here. And that means we can now place 1 rancheria here. And we're going to take the big rancheria. The new rancheria is given a para Ibo medicine rating equal to the new rancheria's band strength. So that's 3. If there is a Mahimiyana counter in the new rancheria's resources box, No, it doesn't have one. If the new Rancheria does not have a Mahimiana counter yet, place its affiliated Mahimiana counter into the new Rancheria's resources box and set his medicine to 0. Done. Player may voluntarily retire any Mahimiana with medicine of 1 or greater in order to transfer his medicine to his Rancheria's Paraibo. Okay, we can do this, and we will do this. Roll a die for each in play, excepting those in which a Mahimiana retired in step 5. If die roll is so we don't have to roll for this one, but we do have to roll for that one. Okay. So we're going to see if our newly created Paraibo dies, and he doesn't. So now what we do is we roll a die for each Mahimiana of each in-play Rancheria with medicine rating 0. That's all of them. So number A, and he gets 1 medicine, and number B, he gets 3 medicine. Good. Excellent. Return all success counters from the out-of-play box, operations track and medicine tracks into the success check draw cup. That is done. We also have to take this one and put it, into the cup. Each tribe settlement with a +1 ravaged is removed. Oh. Okay. Woohoo! It's removed. Ha! Now this is going to be interesting. This gets removed. And now roll a die for each piece and ally counter in a map space. We have 2. We roll a 1. If the die roll is greater than the AP cost, return the counter. So this alliance holds. That's important. Let's see if this one holds. And it does. Okay. Randomly select a territory. Place 1 available bison into an empty space in that territory. Okay. That's 1. So we have 1, 2, 3 possible places. And it's 4. That's occupied. It's 2, so we're going to put it here. Okay. Place 1 available, blah, blah, blah. If no empty space, blah. If no empty space and no bison in blah. Repeat this step for each empty development card space. We have 1. So we roll again. Territory 5 is down here. We only have 1 space where we can put it, so we just put it here, Bravos, Colorado 1. Discard all cards in development card spaces. And resolve any discard, if discarded effects, there aren't any. The player may purchase 1 culture card. Okay, so first of all, we draw and reveal new development cards 1 at a time until all spaces are filled. And resolve when revealed effects. So, when revealed, conduct step 12 of the passage of time procedure, mild winter. 12 is we randomly, we place bison. Okay. 6. 6 is down here. There is no empty space. So we're just gonna, If no empty space, remove any one bison counter from any space in that territory and place it into an empty space on the map. Player's choice. Okay, so we're going to take this, we're going to put it right in front of our doorstep. That's number 1. We have to do this twice more because we have 2 empty spaces here. We roll again, territory 5, which is Brazos, Colorado, no space, empty. So we take one of these and we put it right where we are. And then we do it one more time. We roll and it's a 4 and there is a space. There are actually 2 spaces where we could place one. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and it's a 2. So it goes up here. Place one more bison. So that was that one. Next up we draw the next development card. Know when revealed. So it is Taos Pueblo trade opened to Comanches. The Taos Pueblo was a major trade center for indigenous peoples in the American Southwest. While in play, West Square enemy space only is treated as a peace space for trade purposes. So that would be this one. Player may not conduct raid or warpath actions in West Square enemy space. Okay. And lastly, quality mounts. Comanche ponies were of legendary quality. Spend 1 AP to take in hand. We have 0 AP. As long as this card is in the player's hand, the player may risk losing this card in order to gain bonus MPs. When activating a band, the player get up to 6 bonus MPs. What? That's not an English sentence. After the band has finished, roll a die. If the die roll is the number of bonus MP used. Huh? Oh, okay, I get it. I can say, while I have this card in my hand, that I give myself up to 6 activation points. After I have finished, let's say I give myself 5. After I have finished my activation for my band for which I use this card, I roll a die. If the die roll is less or equal to the number of bonus activation points that I created, I have to discard this card. Okay, makes sense. Good. Okay. I have no idea how we should have done this passage of time thing. I assume this would have moved. I have no idea when this moved because that's a bit weird. When does the passage of time counter get moved? I'm totally unclear about this. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't tell you this. No, it of course doesn't. I suppose it moves every single time you conduct passage of time, so it's up there. So now we're going to go to Operation Cleanup phase. Info stacking rules, roll a die for each Rancheria. That doesn't happen. Draw and reveal 1 counter from the success check. Draw card. It's 2 enemy MPs. Okay. So now we're going to do, we have 5 APs for the enemy, and it's the West that's going to start conducting its nefarious plans, and we have 5 in total. So first we spend 3 to do a culture check. And culture works as follows. If one or more ravaged counters are in an enemy space, which is not the case, then player loses 1 culture point. Player loses an additional culture point for each settlement belonging to the active enemy. So we're going to lose 1 and then 1 more, and we have 0. Now, this is going to be dangerous. And then we have war, but we don't have enough to do this. So we get 2 points to put into store. And now what we are going to do is we are going to do a culture action. We increase our culture point for 1 for each territory containing 1 or more rancherias. So we have 2, because we have 2 territories. And then we get 1 culture point for each Comanche controlled territory. And that is this one here. Because there is no enemies. This one isn't controlled by us because we have 2 enemy tribes that are not allied. If we had taken out these 2 and plus this ally, it would have been fine. So we get 1 more point. We're now at 3. And we need to roll a die. If the result is less than or equal to the numbered position of operations counter, nothing happens. So because we're still at 0 there. In for stacking rules, nothing happens. We don't have finished bands. We draw and reveal 1 counter. And it's a 4 enemies, okay. Then we have a total of 6 enemy points. And it's a 3, so it's the west that operates. And we're gonna go to peace there. So we have 6 available enemy APs. Okay, so, and we're gonna continue this later because I actually have to start making lunch.